hell is going on in the UK? I actually think it gets worse and worse every single day.
Everybody keeps saying it's going to get better. How is it going to get better?
The cost of living in Canada is sick.
I'm going to explain to you guys how much more expensive things are today than they were even 3 years ago based off of my current financial situation.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into something that has been blowing up on TikTok, and honestly is heartbreaking, is raw and is real. Across Canada, the US, the UK and beyond, everyday people are hitting their breaking point. The cost of living isn't just high, it's unsustainable. And the internet, especially TikTok, has become the place where people are finally saying enough is enough. We are seeing viral videos of teachers, single mothers, recent grads and working professionals all sharing one message: they can't afford to live anymore. Not comfortably, not safely, not even basically. From $2,000 rent for a one-bedroom apartment with no washer or dryer, to government agency telling single moms to max out their credit cards just to pay off debt, to professional earning more than they did few years ago but living with more financial anxiety than ever. These aren't isolated stories, these are collective scream. In today's video, we are going to break down this trend in TikTok, explore what they say about our broken systems, and look at the harsh reality many people are facing. But we are also going to talk about something else, the solutions people are starting to explore. From digital products to remote income streams, people are clawing their way toward a different future, because surviving shouldn't be the goal, striving should be. So if you have been feeling overwhelmed, angry or just plain confused about how anyone is affording life right now, you are not alone. Stick around, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's talk about what is really going on.
There is no more cost of living. There is only cost of surviving. My girlfriend and I met for coffees the other day, and she owes a little bit of money to the government, and she was crying to me, saying, I don't know what to do. I'm working 3 jobs. I'm a single mother. Like, I can't afford to live here anymore. So she had a call with the CRA, and the CRA ripped her apart. They said, it is unacceptable that you have not maxed out your credit cards to pay us. It is not acceptable that you are paying $1,000 a month in groceries for yourself and your 3 children. You need to cut back. So she said to them, you're telling me that you want me to take the food from my children's mouth to pay your greedy ass, when it's your fault that fucking groceries are astronomically priced right now. We are all in this together. We are all suffering together. The cost of living is killing people. Families are falling apart. People don't get to see their children because they have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs. I need to let people know that there's another way. And I'm telling you, you need to start looking into the world of digital marketing, digital products, digital sales. These are all things that you can do at home. Make them at home, build them at home, implement it at home, start marketing it at home, and start making the money at home. Working your 9 to 5 is barely getting you by. You're never going to get ahead. But I'm telling you, you need to do something, because this isn't going to get better. Watch what's going to happen in the housing market this year. Watch the price of groceries. Watch the price of gas. Like, we're not getting relief. This is not going away. So how are you going to get on top of it? What are you going to do to make sure that you and your family can survive? Fuck surviving. What are you going to do so that you and your family can thrive? Because it is possible. All you need to do is take the first step.
Everybody keeps saying it's going to get better. How is it going to get better? Our economy is so fucked that I work a full-time job. I make $21 an hour working 40 hours a week. I have no extra expenses, no bills out of my living. I have 1 credit card that's maxed because I've lived off of it, but other than that, I don't have cable. I haven't had cable in 10 years. We have cell phones, but, you know, that's required to live on. But other than that, Nothing extra. On paper, my bills are $2,701. My income is $2,710. Do the math. $9 a month before I pay for food, gas, car repairs, any entertainment. There's no money for that. And my car is dying. It's paid for, so I don't have car payments now that I'm going to replace. And I don't know how to do that on $9 a month. $9 to feed myself, $9 to buy a car, $9 for insurance. Yeah. So at the end of the day, this is me because I worked 8.5 hours a day, knowing that it's not enough, that it won't be enough. Fuck you, Ontario.
How are people affording life right now? How are people tackling this cost of living on the average American salary? I just watched a TikTok of a teacher who makes a teacher's salary. I don't know what state she's in, so I don't know how much she makes, but her 1-bedroom apartment is $2,000. And when she spends $2,000 on that 1-bedroom apartment, it doesn't even come with a washer and dryer. So she has to go pay an additional $2 every time she wants to use their washer and dryer. Okay, like, how does that leave her any extra money to spend? And then she said she had a $400 car payment, which some people were bashing her on that. But in today's economy with interest rates, that's really not that bad. And I'm sure she needs a dependable car. So you talk about teacher's salary, $2,000 in rent, $400 car payment. You got insurance, you got groceries, electricity. Like, I don't understand how people are affording life right now, and it really makes me sad for some people. You have people who are like her. She's single, she has her own salary, or families where it just works out best for them for the mother to stay home. And if the father is just making an average American salary, how are they affording life without going in a bunch of debt? This lady who's a teacher started crying because she said she realizes on her salary and where she lives, she will actually end up in more debt. Then, like, she will just continue to accrue more debt and more debt and more debt because her salary is not matching the cost of living. And what's sad is I've seen people be like, just spend less. Listen, guys, the cost of living is rising and our salaries are stagnant, okay? So there's not just spend less. That's not the problem here. The problem is the cost of living is outrageous, and minimum wage in some states is still $7.25. Teachers in some states are still paid a ridiculously low salary, even though their job is super important. I don't know what we can do about this, but I'm just going on a rant because it really, really pisses me off.
I'm going to explain to you guys how much more expensive things are today than they were even 3 years ago based off of my current financial situation. So 4 years ago, when I graduated law school, I graduated making $65,000 a year. I was living in a 1-bedroom by myself, paying $1,400 a month. After the first 3 months, my boyfriend moved in, and so then we were splitting it, so it was $700 a piece. But he lost his job at one point, and so for 3 months before he got a new one, I was covering the rent all by myself. So it was about 6 months of me paying $1,400 a month for that year-long lease. Now I make about $85,000 a year. I have 2 roommates, and we split the rent 3 ways. And usually my rent is like $950, something around that. So I'm making technically $20,000 more a year. I'm paying roughly the same of what I was paying in rent. And I have never been more stressed out about money in my entire life.
What the actual hell is going on in the UK? I actually think it gets worse and worse every single day. We're literally getting taxed left, right and centre. It actually getting to the point where I feel like most people are just working to survive. Like, they're literally living paycheck to paycheck. They don't do anything else other than go to work because you literally can't afford it. Like, actually, what kind of life is that? Like, what are we all doing? I think a lot of people are opening their eyes to actually what's going on in the UK now. Like, they're actually realising that we've all been kind of brainwashed into believing that we go to school, get an education, get a good job, when in actual fact that just keeps us trapped. And the lifestyle isn't even good here. The weather is crap. Everybody is miserable. I am literally fed up of being here, getting to the point where I am thinking about going elsewhere. There actually isn't any such thing as work-life balance for most people. Now, let me know, has anyone left the UK? If you've left the UK, where have you gone? Where's better? I need some options. Anyway, rant over. Let me know what you think in the comments.
I just want to give a shout out to everybody who, like me, is running a household on a single income at this point in our lifetimes where everything just costs so much. I got a bill this morning I've got an alarm system on my house, and the guys just came and changed all the batteries before Christmas, and I got a bill this morning for £174. And, you know, that's fair enough. It's what it costs. I'm very grateful to have the alarm system. I live by myself. It makes me feel safe. The house has been broken into before. But, you know, £174, I've got to just magic out of nowhere. I'm down 3 fence panels, so I've got to make sure that's sorted out as well. And it's just never ending. It's never ending. So I just want to say, all of you who are managing a house by yourself, where you are responsible for every expense, well done you.
Let's talk about the reality of surviving right now, not living, surviving. Because what we are seeing on TikTok isn't just a trend, it's a desperate cry from people across the globe who are realizing that the system we were told to trust, the system that promised stability, we just followed the rules, are failing us massively. People are working 2, 3, even 4 jobs and they are still not making it. Let that sink in. These aren't lazy people. These are hardworking individuals, teachers, single parents, recent grads, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, doing everything right and still drowning. Take that teacher, for example, living in a 1-bedroom apartment paying $2,000 a month. That is her base rent. No washer, no dryer, just be the barely minimum. Add $400 for a car, insurance, gas, utilities, groceries, and she's left with what? Nothing. In fact, she's going into debt because her salary doesn't match the cost of life. That is not poor budgeting. That is a broken economic structure. Then there is the single mom in Canada juggling 3 jobs, crying on a call with the CRA, and they tell her it's unacceptable that she hasn't maxed out her credit cards to pay them back. Unacceptable. What is unacceptable is forcing a mother of 3 to choose between feeding her kids and paying a government bill. What is unacceptable is telling someone spending $1,000 a month to feed 4 people that they need to cut back. Cut back on what? And what it's not just North America. In the UK, people are being taxed recently. Energy bills are skyrocketing. Grocery prices are rising quickly and wages stagnant, so people work and they work and they work just to exist. No leisure, no balance, just a hamster wheel of rent, bills, taxes and survival. People were sold a dream. Go to school, get a degree, land a good job, buy a house, live comfortably. But now that dream is starting to feel like a lie because even those who did everything right are sitting in tiny apartments with roommates, skipping meals, pushing back medical appointments, falling behind on bills, all while employed full-time. It's not longer about bad choices or furious spending. That is a tired excuse. The numbers doesn't lie. Rent has doubled, groceries are tripled, interest rates are absorbed, and paychecks haven't changed. Let's do some quick maths. Say someone's making $50,000 a year in the US, that is about $3,300 a month after tax depending on the state. Rent alone in many cities is $1,800 to $2,200 for a 1-bedroom, and that leaves us barely over $1,000 for groceries, transportation, bills, insurance, and unexpected costs. There is no buffer, no savings, no fund money, no room to breathe. Now imagine being a parent or a caregiver or someone with medical expenses. How do you survive? The truth is, many people hasn't. They are living on credit cards. They are dipping into overdraft. They are skipping meals on so their kids can eat. They are ranking up medical debt just to stay alive, and they are expected to feel guilty about it. Let's talk about the emotional too. Financial stress isn't just inconvenient, it's crushing. It causes anxiety, depression, insomnia. It ruins relationships. It isolates people. It steals the joy from daily life. And the worst part is, so many feel like they are alone in it, like they have failed, but they haven't. The system has failed them. What is happening now, especially on platforms like TikTok, is that people are finally talking. They are lifting the curtain and exposing the truth. Most people can't afford life right now, and the conversation is long overdue. But here's where the shift begins, because people are also starting to explore alternatives, remote work, digital sales, massive income streams, building something online that brings in even a small second income. Because, let's face it, a traditional 9 to 5, even a well paying one, just isn't enough anymore, especially if you are in a high cost city or supporting a family. And no, digital entrepreneurship isn't a quick fix. It's not a magic solution. It takes time, it takes learning, but it's not one of the few things people can start from home with low overhead and scale over time. Selling digital products, offering services, building communities, these are things that doesn't rely on inflation-prone industries or regime office schedule. They offer leverage, and the leverage is what people need right now. Because surviving isn't enough anymore. People deserve more than just getting by. They deserve peace, they deserve security, they deserve time with their kids, time for rest, time to live, and if the system won't give it to them, they are going to have to build it for themselves. This isn't just a financial crisis, it's a values crisis, and people are finally waking up to the fact that life, real life, isn't meant to be this hard. We hasn't put here to work ourselves into the ground just to keep a roof over our heads and food on table. So if you are feeling it too, the stress, the exhaustion, the fear, know this, you are not alone. Millions are right there with you, but millions are also figuring out new paths, and you can too. Start with one step, learn one new skill, build one small digital product, offer one service, just begin. Because waiting for things to get better isn't a strategy. The system isn't coming to save us, but we can save ourselves together. Thanks for watching, and if this resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe for more honest conversations, and drop a comment below. I want to hear your story. How are you navigating the cost of living crisis? Let's keep this conversation going because it matters. Stay strong, stay smart, stay connected.